Hello, hello, Rebel Riders. I am so excited to be with you here on another Wednesday, another installation of our amazing series highlighting all the Rebel Riders doing the work in action, getting their message out there and making some serious impact with the world. Let us know you are here, joining us live. I will make sure that I can see us. Yes, we're there. Let us know if you're out there, say hello. And if you're watching the replay, don't forget that hashtag replay. I am so excited to introduce you all to my guest today, Leslie Saglio, all the way from Barcelona, Spain. Welcome, welcome. Let me tell you a little bit about her. And then we are just going to dive right in. Leslie is a TEDx speaker, a certified trauma-informed master coach, facilitator, and founder of the Feminine Power and Purpose Immersion. She transforms the lives of women so they can stop playing small, take center stage in their life and their work, and make impact with the world with their unique influence. I am so excited to have you here today. It is a glorious day here in the Midwest, and I hope it is glorious over on the other side of the world as well.
Oh, thank you for having me, Renee, and with such a warm welcome. And I'm so excited to be here with you and all the fellow Rebel Riders. Yes, I'm excited.
Thank you, thank you. So as I was typing in things for our live today, you know, we have a little caption, and all I wrote was your name, and then I decided to write, it's your choice, because this is what you are talking about, like in depth, and the things that are coming up about how we ultimately have the choice to stay stuck in that smallness, as I just mentioned, right? To get overwhelmed with all the things, or to get the support and the tools we need to really empower ourselves and be free to make the choices we want to make. So tell me how that is for you, because I know that a lot of us are out here teaching, not just from knowledge, but a lot of times from our own personal experience. So what has that been like for you to really embody the fact that you get to choose?
Good question. And I love that you just went right into it, Renee. It's your choice. Writers, women alike, it's your choice. I love that. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'd like to just preface it with saying, you know, the earth, the world, our human experience is just full of polarity. You know, we wouldn't experience one without the other. You know, fear versus love, joy versus pain. That's the only way that we experience this human life. And so I believe that it's actually through our pain, it's through our suffering that we all have to some degree or another, that we can actually, should we choose to accept, should we choose to do the work, that we can actually turn that into a more meaningful life, that we can turn that into purpose and passion and a life actually worth living.
I love that, right? It's not just, you know, the high road and everything is fine and dandy and beautiful, but there is that push and pull between, like you said, love and fear. And there is some sense of struggle, and that we don't necessarily have to be afraid of the struggle, but in fact, figure out how we can use it to, well, I was gonna say use it to our advantage, but that's not even quite what I want. What would you say to somebody who maybe uses that term? Like,
I think you're actually in the right direction. I think let's go with it. Let's go with the flow, because I do believe that all of our emotions, like, they're not really bad. They're just an expression of energy. Our emotions are literally energy in motion. And so even Chinese traditional medicine said, you know, emotions are neither good nor bad. It's just energy. And so when we allow ourselves to feel the breath of our emotions instead of suppressing it, which a lot of us have done through childhood, consciously, unconsciously, then we actually, when we feel the grief, the sadness, the rage, and the anger, then and only then can we really transmute that into something meaningful and powerful. We can't just say, oh yeah, okay, I'm sad, that happened to me. And okay, let me try to serve people and do something with this experience. Like, we actually have to feel it. It's a somatic experience. The mind forgets, but the body remembers. And so it's like, the iceberg theory, 95% of how we live and we be in this world is from our subconscious mind. So all those suppressed memories and emotions that we don't even know are there, like, that's actually how we're choosing in our life. So the more and more that we can increase and raise our consciousness and do the work and just lower that waterline just a little bit more from that iceberg, then we can consciously choose differently.
I love that metaphor. I love that. And the idea of like a bypassing, like we can't, the spiritual bypass, right? That's a report.
Big one. Yeah, big one in the spiritual community. And, my first love, into personal development was meditation and yoga. And I worked with a shaman and all the things, but it actually wasn't until I did like this deep trauma work and sexual trauma work that I'm like, oh my God, that was the missing piece. That was the missing piece, because yeah, I'm doing the work and, I'm oming and, doing my downward facing dog, which is great. I love it, love it, my heart. And the missing piece was like, there's really, like they say, there's issues in our tissues. There are things literally in our body energetically, and they manifest physically as disease or all these things that, we try potentially, especially in Western medicine, we're just going to cover it up with a Band-Aid, take a pill for the symptom. But what about the underlying root cause of why that's happening in the body? So a lot of my work with my women is, your body has an innate wisdom. It has an innate intelligence, and it's not there. It's not your enemy. It's not there to punish you. It's there to give you some wisdom and a message so that you can really step into your fullest expression and really be able to, yes, choose differently.
Oh, I love that so much. And so much of what you're saying is hitting pretty deep today. The innate wisdom that we do have. And what you just said, like, it's not here to punish us. So many of us are afraid to really dig deep because we're afraid of what's going to come up and out. And so we run from it, and that's when the overwhelm comes in. And that's when, those feelings of self-doubt and the anxiety and so how do you work with your clients to kind of overcome that resistance, even to even stepping into the work or the idea?
Yeah, absolutely. First, there's got to have the awareness. Got to have the awareness that that's actually happening consciously, unconsciously. That's what you're doing. So a lot of the first thing I do is actually lay it out. This is the unhealthy masculine. This is the healthy feminine. It's been very imbalanced for so long. Yes, we need both the masculine and the feminine. We need to take action. We need to be stable. We need to be putting food on the table. And we also need to have those moments of flow. We need to have those moments of pause and introspection before we go out and start, bursting full of execution and all the things. So there is this natural ebb and flow that as women, if we allow ourselves to really tune into that and not have to be pushing through the pain and allow ourselves to be pulled by our vision in our work, in our life, then life can be so much more easier, full of grace and full of ease and from the overflow. And a lot of also what's happening with my clients and with women is that we have this attachment to a certain outcome. It has to look a certain way. That's what society has told us, or that's how my mother did it. That's how my grandmother did it. And pretty much all the women that are attracted to me in my work, and I am as well, is we are the generational pattern breakers. We basically say the buck stops here. No more playing small. I choose to do things differently. I choose to have a life that's different than the lineage of women before me. And that's a really powerful statement. That's a really powerful awareness. And from that awareness and just knowing that you can choose, it's not, yes, we have, things that our DNA and we inherit from our family. And we also, it's never too late. It's never too late. It's never too early to have a healthy childhood and to have a fulfilling and pleasurable adult life.
I love that. This breaking of the generational trauma. And so much of that, has often been unknown. And I feel like it's, just really coming to light now for a lot of people. Are you seeing that, like more and more people kind of showing up and realizing that, that they're noticing the history and they're noticing the patterns. And then it's like, okay, I want to do something about this, but I don't know, I don't know how, or I don't know what, or,
Yeah, absolutely. There is a huge awakening and shift that's happening right now on the planet. And I think everyone can just feel it. Like, yes, it feels chaotic, and yes, it feels uncertain and the unknown. And that's what has to happen in order for people to wake up. So, what I found in my work and, just being in this space in personal development for at least a decade now, and with my mentors and my coaches and just being in that space and vortex, is that, yes, it's becoming much and more relevant, and people are having a big awareness around trauma and regulating your nervous system, right? Like there's all these things that you actually do have power over. Just learning those tools to be able to calm your own nervous system and not have to take some prescription pill or have to listen to a podcast. Like there are actually tools and practices so that you can feel empowered when you get triggered, when you're, going through all the feels and all the things. Like you can move through it in a healthy way, and then and only then choose differently.
I love that. I love that so much. You have been an inspiration, and I know a little bit about some of your more recent history. And you've had some pretty big stuff come up in your life. And some pretty major things happen just in more recent past. Tell us a little bit about how your own experience has really kind of catapulted your work most recently.
Most recently, we're talking about like within the year. What's recent? It's all relative.
Right. I know. Yes, I was thinking in the last year and a half.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So this past year, I was for those that are not following me already, don't know my story, I was in a major bike accident in the Swiss Alps, fell off my bike, broke my collarbone in two places, super painful, got helicoptered off the mountain, had emergency surgery in Barcelona. And it was pretty much and I've had, 2 kids. So this was like very, like the most painful, challenging moment, I would say, in my life to date. And which was really interesting because everything up until that point was going really good, like really good, like in my marriage, in my work, everything. As so we would seem, right? But I had this intention last summer. I did a plant medicine ceremony in a retreat. And my intention was I wanted to experience and feel and be able to hold more love in my life. And little did I know, boom, this is what the universe was going to give me. But it actually had to take me to not just break open, but break my bones to really stop even more, to lean more into my own feminine, allow myself to receive, which is a big part of the feminine, and allow myself to experience my husband even more in his healthy masculine. Because, after so many years, I mean, we've been together, God, stop counting, 17 years, with 2 teenagers. And, you kind of just, just kind of go on, right? You're like, you have your good days, and then you're kind of like, you're busy.
Right. Yes.
And I was able to experience him in a whole different way that was really, really incredibly intimate and beautiful for me. I don't think without this accident, I would have experienced that and all the other love and support that I received from all of you that are in our business program, from my colleagues, from my mentors and coaches. I mean, really, everyone just was, I mean, my heart was just full. So there was a lot of lessons and blessings from that accident. But again, it was like, how can I turn this into something? Of course, I had to go through like the actual physical pain and like crying through it and all those things.
Right.
But there were the moments where I'm like, okay, well, I didn't effing die on that mountain. So let's go.
Yes.
Let's use the tools and the practices and practice what the F you preach, and let's effing go. And that's what it is. Here we are. And I couldn't believe it. I was healing all the things. And then in January, still recovering from my months, like 3 months after my surgery, got COVID, and then I got invited to be a TEDx speaker. I mean, I tell you, this is how the universe works. You just got to keep going, choose differently, and the universe will conspire with you.
Yes. I love that. Well, obviously we are so thankful that you're here, and we're so thankful that you can, take the struggle and turn it around and choose the empowered self and more love and more, just the new perspective. And I know that, maybe people out there are like, oh, well, I don't want something horrible to happen to me in order for me to like live my best life, right? That's not what we're saying. Not what we're saying, but things do happen on a range, on a scale, and how we respond and what we do with it is really what matters. So in the time we have left, I want you to talk a little bit about, you have an upcoming training that you are gifting to your beautiful people. Tell us about It's Your Choice, the 3 steps to live on purpose and in your feminine power.
Yeah, I'm super excited for this. It's going to be my last event of the year, just with all the things. So yeah, it's coming up on September 14 to 16. Like you said, it's your choice, 3 steps to live on purpose and in your feminine power. And it's just going to be an amazing day, 3 days with all the women in my community from all around the world, and just learning again these tools and practices, so that way you can really go out there and choose differently in your life, and also just experience the power and the transmission and the beauty from being held and seeing with other women that are doing this work. I found that has been a big part of the healing and transformation of this work, is being able to do it with other women. So I'm super excited. And I would love for any women that are here that, are feeling the call and that you are interested and curious on how to replace your fear and anxiety with your innate power as a woman. I'd love for you to come and join us.
So beautiful. I'm so excited for that event. As the Rebel Writers know, I posted earlier today about how we are constantly, having to recommit and commit again and do this work, because it's so easy to swim around in that self-doubt and the overwhelm and the anxiety of it all. And you were spot on. We have to do this in community, because we're not disconnected, and to have that support and to have the the people that you can rely on who are also going through and doing this work is just it's so vital to be able to keep going.
Yeah, absolutely. I saw your post on the recommitment. I'm like, yes, and yes. Yeah, I love your authenticity and the way you show up. And it's beautiful what you're doing in the world and as well. So it's just such an honor to be here with your community and with you. Thank you for having me, Renee.
Thank you. Absolutely, Leslie. And we will get the link to sign up for It's Your Choice and to join your community that I feel honored to be a part of as well. Leslie, it's always a pleasure to talk with you. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Yeah. All right, Rebel Writers, we will be back in a couple more weeks with some more Rebel Writers in action. Please let us know what landed for you today with my conversation with Leslie, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Thanks.